everyone! Hope you're having an amazing day. It's Code Karen. Welcome to Reddit Stories, where we have 2 incredible stories with comments. If you are new to this channel, a sub would be great. Tap that notification bell. Let's jump right in. Am I the idiot for reporting my ex-girlfriend to the police when she left my child on my doorstep and took off? I am 29 and never wanted to be a parent. I did a lot of parenting of my younger siblings when I was a teen, and I hated it. I met my ex-girlfriend when I was in college, and she said that she didn't want any children either because of her past trauma. My choice to not be a father was justified when my mother was diagnosed with Huntington's disease. It's hereditary, which means there is a 50% chance I also have it and could pass it on to any of my future children. When I found this out, I sat down with my ex-girlfriend and said I don't want children, so if she ever wanted to have children, we should break up. She was very clear and said that she hadn't changed her mind. Just over a year ago, my ex-girlfriend's sister had twins. My ex absolutely adored them and brought up how good of a father I would be. Again, I repeated that I don't want children, so she wanted out of this relationship, we will part as friends. She got all upset and repeated once again that she has no plans to get pregnant. Well, a couple of weeks later, she told me she was pregnant. We argued for a few hours, and I left. I told her I would pay child support, but I didn't want custody of the child. She said there was no guarantee that I had Huntington's disease, and the odds of me passing it on were so small that it didn't matter. I moved into a new apartment and got a vasectomy soon after I left her. My ex has tried to get back together with me multiple times, inviting me to the ultrasounds, asking me to be in the delivery room, asking her mother to speak to me. I refused each and every time. I met a new girlfriend who lives in the apartment across from me, and I want to move on. About a month ago, I got a knock on the door, and when I opened it, my ex was there. She had the baby and a large bag full of baby stuff. She handed everything to me and said, "Here, spend time with your daughter," and took off. I was shocked and did the only thing I could think of at the time and called the police to report her. Nobody could find her or contact her, and social services ended up getting involved. This has resulted in her being looked into for being an unfit mother. I feel awful about it, and I honestly feel like it was my only option other than a restraining order. And I really feel sorry for my daughter. The whole situation has turned into an absolute mess, and I am being called all kinds of names by my ex's family. Am I the idiot for calling the police when my ex left my child on my doorstep and took off? Let's head to the comments. Hester Prey says, "I'm gonna say you're the idiot and everyone stinks here. From a very early age, you knew you didn't want kids, but you never took permanent measures, aka vasectomy, until after your girlfriend got pregnant. If it was an accidental pregnancy, it would still be your responsibility to care of that child." Yes, I agree. The ex has serious mental issues as well, for knocking on your door and taking off without any way to contact her. I would never leave my baby like that. I think she had a mental breakdown. That's the only rational explanation I have for all of this mess. Fire Wi-Fi Girl 01 says, "Not the idiot. Whether you want to be a father or not, you are one. I don't think you did anything wrong in this situation. If you don't want to have anything to do with the child, you don't have to. I actually think it's really unfair that you have to pay child support. But it is what it is. You are meeting your financial responsibilities, and that's commendable of you, but this is strictly your ex's fault. She chose to ignore your wishes for a child-free relationship, and now your child is suffering because of 2 stubborn parents." Girl With says, "You're not the idiot for being completely honest and vocal about not wanting kids. You were deceived and trapped by your partner. You did the right thing by offering to pay child support, and you never let her on to think you would be involved in the child's life. She is the child's legal guardian, and she left the baby on your doorstep with no warning, no indication of how to contact her. I would have called the police too. This way, you would have a report of what happened so you don't get in trouble later on. She is an unfit parent, and we just have to hope that the kid will be cared for by a loving guardian down the line. The baby doesn't deserve to be in the middle of all your drama. Get this sorted out ASAP. Our next story is, am I the idiot for asking a neighbor if I could hire her to cook for me and be my personal food service? I'm a 31-year-old single guy who lives alone in an apartment complex. I've lived here for 6 years. My neighbor across the hall, a woman around my age or a little younger, I actually don't know her first name, but I'll call her Katie, has lived across the hall from me for about 2 years. We exchange hellos but aren't friendly, which is how it is with most of my neighbors. I don't know how to cook, and due to losing one of my part-time gigs, I don't have as much money for takeout anymore. I'm getting really sick of eating cheap fast food or boxed mac and cheese. This is where Katie comes in. I can always smell her cooking in the hall, and it always smells amazing. I've even complimented her a few times. So, I got the idea that I'd offer to give her some money each week to cook a little extra and bring it over to me at night. She's cooking anyway. Why not share? The next time I saw her, I asked her about this food service gig, and she was really taken back by the request. She said she couldn't because she was too busy. Sorry, not sorry, type of thing. A few days later, I saw her and asked her again if she was absolutely sure about her decision, and I even doubled the amount I would offer her to cook for me. She said, "What didn't you understand? It's a N.O., and that she isn't a cook for hire, and I should get a housekeeper if that's what I wanted." She also called me a total stranger, even though we talked in the hall before. Anyway, she made me feel like a really big jerk. I'm embarrassed for even asking her, and a little upset because she pretty much called me a creepster. I think asking her to share her cooking wasn't completely outlandish. Heck, she cooks every day anyway, and it wouldn't be hard for her to make a little more for me. I said I'd pay her. So, am I the idiot for even approaching her with this request to cook for me? Let's head to the comments. Greg Bray says, "You're the idiot. I'm judging you not on whether you're an idiot for not wanting to cook for yourself or not. It's about asking your neighbor if she would be willing to cook extra food for you if you paid her. This borders on some sort of bad romantic comedy sketch, but you sound serious, and this ain't Hollyweird. I would have backed off of you too. Big time. I think the overwhelming comments you're getting from everyone about coming off as creepy are justified, because you asked her several times, and she said no, as politely as she could have. I'm sure her body language was, "Get away from me, you creep." I say, hire a food service, and leave this poor girl alone. Quit Stalking Me says, "You're the idiot for everything you did and asked her to do. But I get where you're coming from. If this was some old Italian grandmother that smothered you with offers for dinners, okay. But you just can't go up to someone and say, 'Hey, while you're cooking X, Y, and Z, can you make a plate for me also?' No amount of money would get me to do this. But then again, I can't cook, LOL. Look around for another arrangement. Take a cooking class. Find a food share group. I don't know. But don't stalk your neighbor. Please." Wood Stringer says, "Not the idiot. Maybe I'm wrong by saying this, but I feel like a lot of people don't see where you're coming from, and I don't think you were an idiot for what you did. It is obvious that the way you approached her was not the best, considering it's someone you barely know, but I feel like you were coming from a genuine place, and you were seeking help from a neighbor. I think your intentions were innocent. You were probably feeling a little lonely and wanted to reach out for some help, and you were misunderstood. I would have laughed it off and made some disparaging remark about my cooking, and that I didn't want to be responsible if someone died from my cooking. But she felt that you were intruding on her personal space, and maybe bordering on stalking her, which would creep me out. Hey Code Karen community, what would you do in this situation? I'd love to hear your comments. See you in the next story.